What's going on, people? I'm Swavor, and this is Opinionated Facts. We're going to be talking about the new gun law in New York that goes into effect in September. Miss Carolyn Bryant, the woman that may be allegedly responsible for Emmett Till's death. And we're going to be talking about Rhode Island Senator Tiara Mack. All right, so I have with me today Miss Coco Love, E. Taylor Photography. So I guess I'm going to get right into it. So New York has passed this new law, or it goes into effect in September, where anyone seeking to get a gun permit will have to have their social media account reviewed. Now, I thought this was kind of interesting because this is like the first. I've never heard of anything like this before. And they're calling it, quote, the character and conduct review. So they're going to look at your social media accounts and see if you're gun permit worthy. Now, they are saying that you can carry a handgun still if you want to, because they think that this is like everyone's personal right to personally protect themselves. But as far as the other guns like shotguns and long guns like rifles and AK-47s and stuff like that, you're going to have to go through hours of training, one-on-one interview with someone, and it's just a whole process. So I see that New York is not playing about these residents. So I want to ask you guys, like, do you feel like that's a good way to monitor, I guess, who's buying a gun by looking at their social media account? And do you think this really going to be effective?
To me, I see what they're trying to do, because a lot of times when these issues happen where people go in and they commit these massive shootings or whatever, a lot of times they do have something like this on their social media at some point that they find later that could have pointed, and been a red flag. So I understand what they're trying to do. But at the same time, I don't know if it's going to be that effective, just because, like, for example, the guy who went into the Tops supermarket in Buffalo, from my understanding, he had a Discord. He typed his manifesto or whatever on a Discord that was private, and it wasn't made known to anyone until later. So I don't know. I mean, I would hope that it could be effective, because we definitely need some things to make some changes here. But I just feel like there's going to be some type of loophole that people can get through to still be able to do these things.
I don't really think this is a good idea, because I just feel like, what exactly are you going to judge off of the person's social media account? Like, yes, you're going to monitor basics of, are they threatening people? Are they planning on killing people? Yeah, but I mean, it's rare when you have people who have on their social media and be like, hey, I'm going to do such and such. I'm going to kill this amount of people at this time, or whatever. A lot of times it might be something cryptic. So if you're going to get into the camp where you have to start reading in between the lines of what people are saying, a lot of times people say one thing, they mean another. So you're going to wind up criminalizing people who didn't really have that in mind. I'm not too sure about this one. Again, I'm with you, Scott. I get what the idea is, but I just feel like this can cause another type of issue, especially when people are, heavy on preserving their rights, their gun rights. I mean, my God, they're going to shut up, go crazy now about you not preserving their personal right to post whatever they want to on their social media. But that's how I feel about it.
I'm not really sure if that method is going to work, but I do think it's good for them to be trying to do something. What really got me is the one-on-one interview that you have to go through, and the hours of safety training. Now, I do think that is good for the law-abiding citizens that actually want to buy these guns for home protection and self-protection, but that's just hard to say. Like you say, you just don't know. You don't know who's doing what, and you're not going to always be able to read between the lines and just go off of what you see on social media. But again, I do think it's good that they tried to do something. Coco, what do you have?
Well, I'm not sure if you guys heard about this or anything, but Democratic Rhode Island state senator, her name is Tiara Mack, and she decided to try to be a little innovative, I guess, to try and get votes. So she was on a beach, and this is on her personal time, she's on vacation, it seems, or something like that. She's got on her bikini, and sis decided to bust it open or whatever for some votes. So basically, in a TikTok video, and it is her TikTok account, she is seen on a headstand, okay, so upside down with her bikini on, and it's a thong bikini, so she's got her cheeks out, the cakes, and she is twerking on a headstand. And then when she finishes, she gets up or whatever, and there's another clip that says "Vote Tiara Mack." It's some people that were in the comments that loved it or whatever, and they were hyping her up and everything, saying that I wish she was my state senator, I'll move to Rhode Island, all of that, right? And of course you have other people that are just pissed. They're just this is not the way to be, not the way to carry yourself as a state senator. and all of that, right? So since she's been kind of getting ripped up about this or whatever, for the most part, like there's a lot of people that are disagreeing with what she was doing. She basically made another TikTok basically saying, I'm not apologizing for being myself. She describes herself as a Black queer woman, and she says that she's proud of herself for living openly, and she feels like other people should do this, and she doesn't feel like she should have to conform to being this one way. So when I saw this, I thought it was interesting. I see it from both angles. On the one hand, first of all, if you're on the beach and you're enjoying yourself and you have a vacation, I'm not saying that she shouldn't be able to enjoy herself with her friends on her own personal TikTok or anything like that. So, and if you twerk to have fun or whatever, hey, by all means, that's fine. I guess for me, I think where you blur the lines in and where she brought in herself and opened herself up to being scrutinized is you're doing it and then you're saying you're associating it with what you do professionally, which is vote for Tiara Mack. Personally, I would not have done that. I don't really think it's a good look as a Black woman. I feel like, it takes us a lot, unfortunately, to get to these high places. And I think she's in a great place to make changes. And I feel like it's not necessarily the greatest look. I don't know if it's going to have a negative effect on her. Like I said, I saw some comments that were, in favor of what she was doing. So she might get a bunch of votes for, her twerking. Who knows? But I just feel like, they already, look at us in such a demeaning light. We have it bad out here. And yeah, I just felt like it wasn't necessarily the best thing to do. So what do y'all think? Y'all think that it's a big deal? Or you think that, she shouldn't have done that? Or what do you think?
Well, as a guy, I'm not opposed to seeing a lady twerk, but I will say, just I don't feel like it's a big deal. I don't feel like it's something that people have to get heavily into. I do feel like it might be a little corny trying to do that to get voters. I don't feel like you should because how guys are. You probably get probably extra more voters, but that shouldn't be the reason why you should vote for people. But I mean, at the end of the day, twerking is a form of dancing. So it is what it is. I personally don't think it's a good idea, but I don't feel like it's a big deal to where you should get scrutinized. So you definitely shouldn't lose your job or anything like that.
Oh no,
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Cor?
No, I think for her position, it was probably not the best decision. But again, she might have already thought that this was coming anyway, as far as like the criticism and stuff like that. But I just think, just how society is once you get to a certain point or a certain level in your career, it's just certain things people just expect you to do and not to do. And I think there's a lot of people, depending on how they view her, like what you said, some are going to agree with it, some are not. But personally, I agree with you. Yeah, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. But of course, we're just two people. And in order for her to get the masses of votes, I guess it's going to come down to what people think about her actions. But I don't see the big deal, though. I put it that way.
Hopefully she won't have too much of a hard time with it, like coming back from this. I definitely don't want her to lose her position or anything like that. I think, we need more open-minded people like that in office. So I don't think it's, that big of a deal where she should be like, losing her job or anything like that. But yeah, just in the future, maybe she might want to, but maybe, I don't know, like I said, it might work out for her. But what you got, Elliot?
Well, still sticking with politics, in a way. Well, not in a way, but it's sticking with politics. We're talking about Carolyn Bryant. But let me backtrack a little bit. So basically, dozens of activists were gathered in Raleigh, Carolina on Wednesday, looking for Carolyn Bryant. Now, if you don't know who she is, she was the lady who accused Emmett Till in an infamous case for whistling at her in a store in Money, Mississippi back in 1955. These led to a horrific death of Emmett Till, where he was kidnapped from his bed, tortured, shot, and dumped in the Tallahatchie River. I think it was Carolyn's husband at the time, Roy Bryant, and his half-brother were arrested and later acquitted in the case. So basically, my question is that even though she is older now and got dealt with, I don't feel like she ever got her comings for it. Do you feel like it's right to demand that she should be prosecuted? Do you think that there should be an age limit with her being elderly, or do you feel like you did wrong You got to deal with it. Emmett Till's family, they don't have him anymore. They never got their justice. So it shouldn't matter if you're 67, 70, 25, 35. It shouldn't matter if you do wrong. If people find out that you did wrong and you committed basically a felony because you falsely accused somebody, then you should do the time. So what do you two think?
Well, just based off of what I've seen or whatever, first of all, no, I don't think there's an age limit. Like, I think she's probably like in her 80s or so now. And no, I don't think there should be an age limit on you being prosecuted if you did something wrong. And it was admitted, I believe, by her at some point that, it didn't actually happen. And that's messed up. Like, he was a child, and the thoughts that probably went through his head at the time when it happened or whatever, all the trauma that it caused his family, the things that people are doing now to like his monuments. Like, I don't know if y'all see, but like they'll put up monuments for him or have put up monuments for him that keep getting defaced, getting shot up, like riddled with bullet holes and things like that. So no, like some type of justice needs to happen for him. So I don't care how old she is. She could be 95. But I think that she does. I think she needs to be brought to justice because there was no reason for that. Why would you do that? Like, what was the reason for you to make that up and get this child killed? So yeah, I don't think it's an age limit. I think she should be prosecuted.
Well, Corey, what about you? What do you think about it?
I think that she should be prosecuted as well. I think if it was the shoe was on the other foot and the races and the roles were reversed, it probably would be a situation where they would be calling for her to be charged. As a matter of fact, we probably wouldn't have even gotten this far. She would have already been charged. But just even taking the race and all that out of it, they really pushed this. If you do the crime, you do the time. So I guess it applies to you, like you said, whether you 7, 17, 77, or 107. So that's how I feel about it.
I can agree with that. I do feel like myself that she should get time. I mean, I hate that, it's taken this long, but better now than never. She needs to face some type of repercussions for her actions before she leaves this earth. Maybe it's her time coming.
All right. Well, I want to take this time again to thank everybody for listening to us today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.